ML Sports Take brought to you by Welch & Company Jewelers and Brewerton Ace Hardware. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel. One thing we may see, and starting this year in the NCAA tournament, is Cinderella dwindling more and more and more and more because NIL and portal, you can buy players, you can form rosters through black bags of money. Now, yeah, you can see a McNeese beat a Clemson, but then they're gone right away. It's going to be hard for the Grand Canyons of the world, the Drakes of the world, mid-majors in the A-10, even in the MAC, like a school like a UB, if they were to make it, they do have football. They do have a 30,000 enrollment, but again, there's different variations of that Cinderella. Remember a few years ago, UB took out a high-seeded Arizona team with DeAndre Ayton and company. There are different variations of Cinderella, no matter what the enrollment is, no matter what this or that is. But the end of the day, the Floridas, the Houstons, the Alabamas, the Texases, the Michigan States, the state schools with the alumni and the boosters pouring money in, the NIL and the portal, it's going to be very hard for these kind of clubs to keep up. In fact, even a St. John's team that doesn't have power football, they're not in the Power 5, they still have Rick Pitino. They won 30 games in the Big East, and they're in New York City. So a mid to low-level A-10 team, hello, my alma mater, St. Bonaventure, or some other folks, you know, even, look at how Drake did it. Drake was a Cinderella technically this year. You know, their head coach comes from D2. They pluck 4 players from D2. They win in one form of a Cinderella in round 1 against Missouri, but then they're right out against Texas Tech. They were kind of a Cinderella for a short time, but these Cinderellas with, like, a Drake can't compete with a Texas Tech money-wise, or a Maryland, or a Purdue, or a Kentucky. You know, you're going to maybe see a dwindling of Cinderella. That saddens me to a certain degree. I love the Cinderella. And again, there's different variations of Cinderella. And you take a look at like a round 1 and 2, you can win on those days. We do have Cinderellas making it to Elite 8, Final 4. And a Cinderella should never be defined by, oh, you got to win a national championship. That's not what a Cinderella technically is through the tournament. It's a sustainability of a Cinderella. But when you look at who they are, what they represent, probably going to be dwindling here as the years go on because the NIL portal is just going to take over. And you look at all these schools here, you look at the rosters, you look at the money, be hard to keep up. ML Sports Take brought to you by our good friends at Camilla's Golf Club, Stanley Law Offices, and Brewerton Ace Hardware. Get to the chili cook-off this Saturday at Brewerton Ace Hardware if you're in and around Central New York. It all begins at 11. You can still enter also to compete for the best chili. They're going to have raffles and a ton of great prizes at Brewerton Ace Hardware, Route 11 in front of the Brewerton Bridge if you're in and around Central New York. As I always tell you, enjoy the games.